as you can hear, and as you can see, when you're pressing that, you get your little illuminated on-off sign. So in terms of actually testing the mod or the board prior to actually stripping out of this, we know we've got something functional that we can actually work with. I'm going to pop away, I will come back in a bit and we're going to start dissecting it.
Right, I'll just mix up this epoxy pretty quickly. See, it's still lasting. Gotta find a new source for it. So, in a good mix. And hopefully should be able to get it all set. And then it'll just be a matter of finishing off. So mix it to a good even consistency. So here's the pull air switch. The most important thing to remember when you're going to position up this switch is to make sure it's not too far away so that you're really pushing hard on the trigger at the bottom. In fact, I think I can seal this positive connector at the same time. Kill two birds with one stone. Also gives me something to set the epoxy against. That's too far back. I think just about there. Drop in some more epoxy. And I think I made a huge mistake. That's the one thing I need to do is make sure I keep an area clear to solder the negative onto. Otherwise this whole thing's going to go terribly wrong. While I'm busy with the epoxy, I'll try and fiddling around the bottom of the connector at the same time. Just to give a nice clean appearance when we're done. And to make sure everything's securely seated, of course. So, I'll just try and do it as neat as possible. A wet finger always helps to smooth this out. And you can always clear this stuff off later on once it's set. But it's a lot easier to do it now while you've got the chance. So again around the top section. And what I'll do at the end is once it's all set, I'll cut this out to match this so that it just slides over nice and easily. And I can always sand down anything that gets in the way. So just make sure that I leave an area for the solder. I think that will be pretty much done. Now I just need to clean off my hands a little bit. And I better finish off the soldering while I'm here. Just put the other bit of solder out of there. And back this way. Clean up the tip. I'm just going to put a load of solder in here. It's getting rather hot. That's it basically done. So I just have to wait for the epoxy to set and we should be there. Not wanting to waste any of the epoxy. I'm just going to pop it down in behind here to strengthen this up a bit. Back home, finish with that.
And there we go, back in the room again. So yeah, there we go. First two parts, or the first part of the gripper mod. Probably going to have to take that over next week as well. And we'll see the final part of the Wii mod very a little bit later on. Yeah, I think I'm going to be very jealous of Mark's forthcoming mods, because I believe, or he tells me, he has a very special little unit on the way in the shape of a DNA 20. Jealous boy me at the moment, I'm telling you. I wanted to get my hands on one of those, and money won't allow it. Big car problems at the moment. I need to burn it, but you know what I'm like, we'll make things blow up. Not very good. I'm going to pop into our first little ad break. I will see you back after this.
iViber and iViber Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iViber.co.uk and iViber-elixir.co.uk. iViber and iViber-elixir.co.uk are proud sponsors of ViberTrails.tv.
Anybody else really excited that we're in 2013 now, and that means only one thing, that in October Vapex will land on our shores. Yeah, I certainly am. I will most definitely be there, without fail. We've got, as I say, I'm not sure how we're going to be doing for time tonight. I'll probably come back and waffle a little bit later on. Do have to apologise if you're watching this on the replay. I did miss the start. Yes, after I was in the lucky position, I think, this year of having Christmas Eve on a Monday and New Year's Eve on a Monday, which meant I got to be sick for 3 weeks, if I haven't said that already. No sympathy needed at all from chat. You know, I'm alive and kicking. Missed Christmas and New Year, but there you go. There'll be one next year, hopefully. Right, on with the modding. Back onto the gripper mod, and this is how I'm getting on. Okay, we're back in the room, and I'm going to try and get down on this one as we're doing this. First thing I'm going to do, obviously we have just tested the integrity of the board on this, so we want to now relieve the case of its components. So I'm just going to take off those two solder joints that we put in to put our temporary battery pack in. We'll probably be using that battery pack a little bit later on. Now, looking down in this particular mod, our connector is just of the sliding variety, so no doubt that will just sort of come free, and yes it does. We're going to probably leave that in situ for the moment. We'll be putting a new connector on anyway. I've got my POS and my Negwa. Now if I don't have to disturb them I won't, and obviously it looks like this is hot glued in. So what I would tend to do is just start trying to manipulate some of that glue away, which normally is easy. If it's around a wire, just be careful. And it's looking like it's going to reveal 4 little plastic lugs that this board is held in with. Now I might be able to just start easing them up. No, let's try and get a bit more of this out. Like I say, be careful when you're pulling them off, because you can sometimes muller a component by trying to get this glue off, and that's not what you want to do. Now I'm not doing this in the most delicate of ways, and I can see there are some little plastic lugs down in there, and I'm going to start trying to bend these back as I go to free up this board. There's a big bit of glue there and a plastic bit, and there's our board free, hopefully without damaging it. As you can see, this is a 2-tier board, and our buttons are there. So pretty much all of our bits are out. Now everything's labelled up nicely on there. So we've got our inputs here, we've got our ATI outputs, and it looks like we've got a couple of switch outputs that are right down there. Now, just going to take this switch out. Hopefully this is all visible with what I'm doing. I'm going to take out these 2 switch bits, and at the moment I'm going to snip these off because we wouldn't be using this switch again anyway. Take out the ATI connection, and we have a pile of bits. So we've got our POS and neg in, which should be easy to resolder. My 2 ATI connections should be easy to resolder. Now my switch ones, I need to work out where the switch is. Sorry, that was off camera. I'm just trying to work out where the switch contacts solder to, and they are just down on there, K1 and K2. We may even leave these 2 in for the switch, because to be honest, these aren't going to be a mass issue going to our switch. Neither should these be to our atomizer. So I'm going to essentially start with desoldering the ATI connection here. Everything else can pretty much stay in situ. Make it a hell of a lot easier for rehousing the mod. I'm just going to tin up my tip, go down in there, relieve the neg wire and just take the pos off that centre pin down in there as well. So my board is now free of boxiness. So what I need to go away and look at is how we're going to house this. I'm sure you already know. I'm going to try, I'll just put it in a tin. Be a damn sight easier putting it in a tin. We may look at linking up our battery pack so we can actually run this on two 18650s with a constant sort of 3.7 or 4 volts depending on the charge, rather than stacking them. I'll make that easier. One is in series, one is in parallel. You know, when you link them up in certain ways, like you know the way that this battery pack was running originally, there's a link between the neg and the pos. We don't want that. We want it to run sort of poses together, negs together, etc. So we're getting a 3.7 over the two batteries. Effectively, we're using one of these. We're doubling up our mile. So 4,000 milliamp hour mod would be nice. I'm going to go away. I'm going to have a look and see what we've got to fit the contents of this in, and I'll come back to you after this. Okay, looking at what I wanted to do, I'm going to use a single 18650 on this, and literally I've just run the blade down either side of there, and I've now sort of started hacking away at the middle bit with the blade, just running it down, and that's going to separate me up my little battery connectors. So I've got it all found out. Running the blade down in there. Now the problem you have with these, just trimming that up, the problem you have with these when they go in these boxes or the tins is if you leave the lugs on, as you can see, that isn't going to shut. So we've got to do a bit of trimmage, and we will just take a couple of bits of this off. The little lugs that stick out on the side there, I'm just trimming those back. That'll impede the height, as will the top caps here. So we've got to take the height down on these ever so slightly. I just hold that firmly on the bench, get the blade in, run that down, keeping your fingers well back. I don't want to be bitten again. It is actually this month is the 2-year anniversary of my finger operation. I don't want to, at the end of 2 years, be going back in again. Now, there is on these also a little, the little joining wire that runs down inside there. We've got to try and snip him off, which is easier said than done. But getting the snips down in there, we've got it done. Now we should find when we put that in our tin, close the lid, the battery isn't going to impede on the lid closing now because we've taken off those plastic lugs. I was looking at the best way to do this. I'm potentially looking at mounting the board just down inside there, so we've got all the same functionality, pretty much like we've done before with the lava, and I'm looking at getting the switch somewhere round about there using the existing wire for the switch. It means on this board I'm going to have to add new wires, extended wires for the pos and the neg, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. I should be able to get those in situ. What I'm going to do is run some long cables off the battery pack, and then I'll solder those in and tidy the whole thing up when it goes into the tin. Next thing I've got to do is roughly work out the layout. As I say, I'm having my battery sort of in here, looking at having this mod board down inside there, switch probably round about there, which will leave enough room for the ATI connection. Obviously, with the switch poking out the back on this one, it isn't going to be too much of an issue because we know the 5 presses will turn the mod off. So you can 5 press it, turn it off, put it in your pocket. Effectively, all we're doing is taking a mod that had a broken housing and we are giving it a new home. Obviously testing before we went. I need now to go and get a drill, mark this up, drill some holes, and I'll come back to you.
So then, I've left this to set for a while, shall we say. We are pretty much done. All we need to do now is make sure the wires are all out of the way. Got our connections. Got what's turned out to be a really badly seated 510 connection. It's at an angle, but I can live with that. So now all I need to do is fit the top section, and this will slide over there, but the epoxy here is just slightly too high. So very carefully just slice a bit of this off. I'm saying very careful. I should probably do the blade away from my fingers, not towards it. And basically I'm just shaving little bits off the top. It comes flush with the plastic here. And pretty much there now. So, pretty much that would help if it hadn't just caught on the sole and ripped it off. So I'll sew it in back on. These 510 connectors, the Saloons, don't sew too well. So you have to be a little bit careful with them. If at all possible, you want to be fixing it somewhere where it's not going to be knocked at all. What I need to do, as you can see, there's no way that's going to fit over there. This section needs to be cut out a bit. I think I will use a file. Let's give it a try anyway. Just a round file. I'm just going to try just fitting it in place, see what I need to remove. And as you can see, I need to remove this bit a bit more. So, that's most of it out now. Looks like I need to cut a bit of this epoxy out. This is where it could all go wrong. Normally I would sand down the epoxy, but where this is, it's not going to be possible. So I'm just going to have to chip away a few bits of it, I think. snaps that back into place. I'm pretty much there. It's going to need a little bit of a clean up to get rid of some of the residual epoxy. Maybe to clean down, but I think I'm certainly in a position to try it. So now the battery sits down through the hole when it's flush. It's hitting both the connectors, so that's good. Pop a cover on. That's it. Right, slotting in these pieces. So, what you've all been waiting for. As you can see, oh, it's in camera. It definitely ain't straight, it's pointing up over. But there you go. And it's not going to fire. And a quick test. It could just be the atomizer. And yes, it appears to be the atomizer. Right. It's not getting a good connection on that for some reason. Ah, there we go. Nice good sizzle there. And plenty of vapour coming off it, as you'd expect from these 4.2 mod. I would say it might be an idea to attach an old cartomizer to the connector when you're setting it so you know it's straight and not rushing like I did. There you go, nice little wee mod. Fits in the hand, fits in the pocket. Don't know how well pocketable, because it does take a bit of pressure that to fire, so it should be okay, I think. But there you have it.
And there we go. That was the final part of the little Wii, now the Wii controller. If you haven't seen the first part of that, if you go back prior to, I think it was somewhere around about the 10th of December, I believe the first part aired. We were going to air that we just did on the show on the 17th, but we had a little technical glitch and we suffered drastically. Hence showing it again for you tonight. I believe that is not actually a Wii controller, it is a novelty sort of sweetie tin thing, I think. I don't know if anybody noticed there, but Mark obviously has invested in a hydraulic arm attachment. I really do want to know where to get one of those. Could save a lot of time. And while I was watching that, I had some very strange thoughts going through my head. Not going to share those with you, but I'm sure Mark may on our forum, Vapor Trails TV forum. He may even tell us where to get one. Would be much appreciated if you would, mate. We're going to go into our second lab break now. I will see you back very shortly after this.
Liberty Flights sponsors 10-Year Tip with Garry Dibley.
And those outbreaks just do not last long enough. I'm currently playing Star Wars Angry Birds. Not at this moment. Didn't even get shot off during that little thing. Right. I'm going to give you a little bit of info about the, if you like, the Tin Your Tip show going forwards, as we are now into 2013. I don't know how many times I've said that tonight, but we well and truly are. The year where things are going to change. You may have seen the show that myself and Mark did on 17th of December, where we had Mark in on the chat, sat up there somewhere. However, he was above a fireplace. We're looking, if you like, to take things a little bit forward, to ease our modding tasks, because as you go, I'm sure you can appreciate, it takes a hell of a lot of work to come up with pretty much a mod a week, and at the end of this month, that is 12 months for me. What we're going to be doing going forwards is potentially one show a month, sort of have a, if you like, a mod talk session, where if you guys can, we'll open up a little thing on the forum, where you can post things that you would actually like to see, talk about and discuss. We may well film, you know, a few little short videos on any talk topics. It's good getting a different point of view from myself and Mark, two different modders with different styles of modding. If any of the other modding community out there would also like to join in, we'd be more than welcome. You'd be more than welcome to appear on the show, and I'm sure we can get another TV somewhere for you to fit into. So that's looking at the format going forward. Mod talk, effectively 1 day of the vaping month. We'll be looking at doing something like that. So questions, answers, talking to you guys, getting some feedback from chat. Very much like the VT talk show, but totally about modding. Nothing else but that. So hope you will like that format. That would or should be coming to you very, very shortly. You know, if you want to ask questions about starting modding type of tools, all the usual stuff, either send me a PM on any of the forums, or we'll open up our own section on the Vapor Trails TV forum. For those of you that are joining us fresh and new in this year, it may well be that you're trying to find out how you watch us. Let me show you this and you can find out.
If you can't watch our shows live, try some of these. Go to YouTube at youtube.com/user/VaporTrailsTV and you can subscribe there. All of our shows are uploaded as soon as possible after they've gone out live. Enjoy watching it on YouTube. Lots of people do. Alternatively, go to Google and type in podcast vaportrails.tv and iTunes. Click on the link and that will take you to a page that shows you the Vapor Trails TV podcast. View it in iTunes, and when you get to iTunes, don't forget to click on subscribe free, and each of the shows will be downloaded to your hard drive as soon as they come out. Or you can use video on demand. Go to www.vaportrails.tv, click on vPlayer, pick the show you want to watch, in this case it's the Haze Hour, and then you can pick the episode that you want to watch from every one that we've ever done. They're all there. Under normal circumstances, you'll watch it at 360p, which means everybody can see it. It'll go full screen. You can do whatever you want with it. So there you go, 3 ways that you can watch vaportrails.tv. Subscribe and enjoy. Thanks.
And there we go. No truer statement could be said other than, e-cigs matter, because they do. And just a little reminder again, a must tune in on this Wednesday for VT Talk with Dave, where he will be, I believe, giving us a lot more info. If you didn't see the show on Sunday with Dave Kitson, watch that again. But we will be looking, and we will be wanting people to go and talk to your local MPs or MEPs, as many as you can of them. I certainly will be booking my appointment very soon, and I urge you to do the same, as does everybody else in the team. Going forwards, I am going to pop into my next little bit of the gripper mod re-thingy. See you back after this. Okay, I've got me bits. I'm missing one essential bit, but I have that now. What I'm just going to quickly do is mark up roughly where I want the centre of my switch to be. Just a quick little hole or a little marker down in there. What I'm going to do, he's lost his drill, is I'm just going to cut a pilot hole through first. I'm just using a small sort of 3mm drill bit to get a pilot hole. Holding the tin, minding the pinkies on the other side. And just easing in a pilot hole. I'm going to do the same for my atomizer connection. Another little pilot hole in the top. Reason for those, I'm going to be going on to the step drills. Fabulous bits of kit. And I need to drill down to around about 9mm. 9mm-ish for the ATI connector. I've got one here just so I can test when that goes through to the right depth. And I'm just bringing in my little taking that down to 9mm, so my ATI connection will sit in the top. Same for the switch. What we're going to do for the switch is we're going to start off with the little one. You find that once these bite, they do go, and I've said it before, they do go through rather quickly. I'm just going to step that up now to the bigger boy, the big boy, which I think goes up to about 30mm. 30mm, nice size. That's a big boy. And what I'm going to tend to do with this now is drill from one side and then drill from the other, and I'll show you the reason for that. Because what you tend to get is a lot of bears and a lot of poppy throughiness on the other side. So by alternating the side that you're drilling from, you eliminate a lot of those. Now I'm just going to test my switch for fitment. I think it's probably got to go a little bit deeper, a little bit bigger. I'm testing the hole. Only a tad. As I say, these don't take long to get through. That's it. So my switch will go somewhere like that. So I just need to tidy up that hole ever so slightly. Yeah, the switch is tight in there. Give me one tick. You do tend to get little burrs when you do this. They're not drastic. So we have our hole for our switch and our hole for our atomizer connection. I'm not going to fit the switch yet, and I'll tell you why. Because I want to get the other bits glued in place first. So I need to get the atomizer connector, or the battery pack, I need to get that soldered up and get that in, get that firmed up before I put the switch in. The only reason for that, you're working with a switch on the back and you've got a big switch in, like this one. It's going to end up rocking around on the bench and you can't do much with it. It's now got stuck in the hole as well. It's tight to fit. With our battery pack, what we're going to quickly do is make up some pos and neg leads, and I'm just going to solder those in place now actually on the box. So I've got a neg lead obviously going on the neg end, which is going to be black, and a pos lead going on the pos end, which is obviously going to be red. Always tinning up. Don't put too much heat on these if you can avoid it. The plastic, the lug melts through, well, it mounts through the plastic, and also if you keep your eye on there too long, you'll end up melting the lug through the plastic, which wouldn't be good. And there again, just on with the wire, quick tap to make sure you've got your connection, and there you go. So we have our battery pack there wired up to go to our mod. I need to heat up a glue gun. I need to pop back to you, and we'll start popping some stuff in place. And that glue gun is still on the boil because I'll be continuing the gripper mod next week. Yes, basically. For those of you who are joining us for the first time or are watching this on the replay for the first time, we do have shows running all the way through, as I'm sure most of you will know, from Monday through to Thursday. Let me just give you a little recap so you can see what we got and when we got it.
And good evening, eventually. Took a little while to get things wound up and ready to go then, didn't it? But I'm here now, so welcome to Dave's Tackle Box on Sunday.
So there we go, I'm back in the room and not long to go now. So yeah, I was talking to my son, and he's watched me make things before.
And a very good evening to you. It is Tuesday the 20th of November 2012 and you are tuned into BBC Monthly.
At Vapor Trails TV Towers. Tonight being Wednesday night, it is time for the one and only chat show programme called VT Talk.
Tis the Haze Hour. Again. Keith was just saying if it wasn't for the titles, he wouldn't come and do the show. He loves them so much, don't he?
Well,
So there we go, a lot of the loveliness that we have lined up for you this week in Vapor Trails. As I was saying earlier, while this has been going on, I've just been, if you like, monitoring the chat there. There's been some interesting comments that I've been picking up on all the way through. Pretty much like, what do guys prefer? The DNA or t'other one with a fancy display. What type of epoxy and where to get it from and all that sort of stuff. There's been a lot of that going on in the chat. Those are the sort of things that going forwards into new tip we're going to be looking at picking up on those sort of comments, and as I mentioned earlier, we will be doing a modding talk session once a week. We need input from you guys as to what you would like to see on there. Me for one, I would like to see how Mark invented the sort of hydraulic fist that he has there for some reason, but we can cover pretty much anything from you right the way through, from metering batteries to measuring resistance to soldering tips, hints, this, that and the other. As I say, we may film a little bit, talk a little bit. More than welcome to have guests on the show, the technology willing, as they will say. For some bizarre reason, tonight my CPU has stayed stable all the way through, and has been the lowest it has been in its lifetime, which has been a blessing in disguise. So get yourself onto our forum, PM myself and Mark. We'd love to know what you guys would like to talk about. I will say for this week, please don't forget to watch VT Talk on Wednesday. It will be a must see. Unless you guys have got anything for me in chat, which I'm going to look now. Apart from spinach, I don't know why Mark would want me to talk about spinach. No, it's not keyboard over my head. But I think, guys, I am going to have to call it a night tonight. I am fading fast. I've been in bed at 9 o'clock every night this week, and I am pretty much dead on my feet at the moment. I'm going to break all the rules, and I'm going to have to finish 1 minute early. But it has been a pleasure to see you back here again. We'll be back next week where Mark is going to tease me with commencing his DNA type project. I think that's what he said to me. He may kill me if that's what he's not doing. He may kill me if he thought it was going to be a surprise. But we will be seeing that, and we'll see that obviously right the way through, start to finish. I'll be finished off the grip mod. It's been emotional as usual. I will see you all here next week. Good evening. Take care, guys.
Liberty Flight sponsors 10-Year Tip with Garry Dibley.